Chad and I bought this house in 2018, and it was, to put it nicely, a fixer-upper. And we fixed the upstairs and it looks fabulous. The basement was something we put off until further notice. Of course, that happened this summer when we were finally able to safely get a crew into the house and start renovating our basement. Well, it's been a messy journey, especially because we've been living in the house during the renovation. So in this video, I want to talk about how to deal with the mess, the dirt, the smells, the buildup during a renovation, and of course, how to clean your home after a renovation has taken place. That way, it's a happy and healthy space that you can live in and enjoy. When I started my cleaning business back in 2006, and since I've started that business, we have done a lot of post-renovation cleanings. So I have cleaned my way through lots of these types of messes. And the first thing to know is you want to keep the space as clean as you can during the renovation. So whether that's you taking it on or your general contractor, it's important to make sure that the house is being cleaned up after each day. That way, there's no debris left on the floor that can potentially build up or sneak away into a corner like wood splints or nails, but also it helps to keep dust under control. Dust comes from sanding and cutting and different types of construction materials, and by removing it from the home every day with some sort of wet-dry vac, not a regular vacuum, you need like an industrial wet-dry vac for this job. You're gonna keep that dust from circulating throughout the rest of the home and settling. The more you can stay on top of it during the renovation process, the less work you're gonna have to do on the back end. Now, with that being said, if you're just doing a particular area, like for example, we are just doing this rec room, you can also put up plastic barriers to prevent the dust and any other things from flowing outside of that particular space. You can also tape up any vents or ducts to make sure that no air is circulating through there as well. The other thing you can do is to run an air purifier during the renovation process. We did that. Actually, we had one running down here and we had one running upstairs. We live in a bungalow. It was really important to me that the air stayed clean during this renovation process, especially because myself, Chad, Riley, and our cat are living here during this experience. So running that air purifier, or those two actually, were really important to us. You'll know the renovation is done when your last contractor has finished their job. And in fact, when I would advise clients when they should book their post-renovation cleanings, I always say when your last contractor leaves and just before you plan to bring your furniture back, that's when we should come in. So think about the same thing for when you're cleaning your home. And what that should look like when you're prepping the space is to remove any of those final materials, plastic barriers, paper off the floor, boxes, paint cans, building materials. Any of that stuff should move its way out and, of course, should be disposed of in the appropriate and safe way. You also want to think about getting rid of any clutter that is built up during the renovation, or anything that you kind of parked that you thought, okay, I'll bring this back after the reno is over and I'll find a little place for it. If you know that you're not going to use it, this is the time to put it up online for sale or find another home for it. This room actually used to be 2 rooms. We took this wall down and then ripped everything down to the studs. So the drywall, the trim, the paint, the floors, the ceilings, the lights, everything in here is new. And with that comes those air quality issues I was telling you about, because we have all of that reno dust and all of that debris just kicking around on the floor and in the air. So the first way we manage that is by the regular floor maintenance and vacuuming with a wet-dry vac to remove the larger stuff. But the smaller stuff, like that fine dust that circulates and resettles on your windowsills, you just go like this and you look at it. That super fine dust, and even the stuff that you can't see in the air, like those VOCs, specifically formaldehyde, which is actually a big concern. It's been in the news a lot lately, specifically to do with flooring. That's the kind of stuff where the indoor air purifier kicks in and takes over. Because I turn that on and it sucks up those bigger particles, those fine dust bits that I was telling you about, but even the invisible stuff that we can't see. So in this room, I'm using the Dyson Hot Plus Cool Formaldehyde, which automatically senses, captures and traps pollutants for cleaner air. It even detects and destroys formaldehyde, which is why they gave it that name. In fact, it removes 99.97% of particles as small as 0.3 microns. Remember, this is the kind of stuff that's off-gassing from paints, flooring, new fixtures, and furniture. You know I love Dyson products, and one of the reasons why I think they're so great is because they are so driven by R&D. And I want to give you a really good example of that for this particular air purifier. Okay, so the way that air purifiers are tested is by this standard test called CADR. Okay, they put an air purifier in a small room with air circulation and one sensor. This kind of made Dyson raise an eyebrow, and they said that test isn't good enough because it doesn't mimic real life. They made their machine work harder. So they created their own test called the Polar test. It's a larger room to reflect what our actual homes look like. It has 9 sensors instead of 1 to make sure that air is clean all over the room, not in just one space. And it had no air circulation. So everything relied on how the air purifier performed. Now, the HVAC system in your home is the other major player here because it is responsible for the flow of air throughout your entire space. So that means that your furnace filter should be changed after a renovation because no doubt it's been working overtime and it's likely clogged. And this would be the time to actually answer that duct cleaning phone call and book an appointment. This would be the time to get your ducts cleaned. Generally, a renovation isn't grimy, it's dusty. So we have to think about what we're cleaning up. And first, we're gonna tackle the horizontal surfaces. Dust always falls from the top to the bottom and finds any and all horizontal spaces it can to relax and have a little holiday. So it's your job to find all of the tiniest horizontal surfaces that exist in your home. That's right, the big and the small, the top of door frames, all the grooves on your doors, the baseboards, the molding, literally anywhere there is a horizontal surface, you can run your finger along it. And I'm willing to put money on the fact that you will find some renovation dust on your finger. So you want to start by dry dusting the area first. When you think about the components of the dust that you're going to be cleaning, it's drywall dust, so it will get really streaky if you make it wet. So start with a microfiber cloth and dry dust as best you can. If you still feel like you want to give it a good cleaning after, you notice some dirt left behind, then and only then should you be using a little bit of moisture on your microfiber cloth. So you can use our DIY all-purpose cleaner. You don't need anything fancier than that. One of the reasons post-reno cleans take so long is because we have to clean the vertical surfaces as well. The dust is so fine and finicky, and the finishes that you cut up can just fly everywhere during the reno process. So you're gonna see things on vertical surfaces. That's why your walls, your windows, your baseboards are also going to need extra attention. Now, you're gonna use the same process. You're gonna dry dust first with microfiber, and then you can use a wet dusting process after if you like. And I've got a video on how you can do that linked down below. And then it all comes down to the floors. And because you've watched this video, you've been so good about keeping them clean on a regular basis. But I would recommend once all of your other cleaning is done, you want to give your floors a final vacuum with that wet, dry vac. Once that's done, you can then maintain your floors with a regular household vacuum. This is actually where the Dyson V15 Detect comes in handy because it's got that laser which can detect all sorts of dust, and you should expect that fine dust to resettle for 1 to 2 weeks after. But again, the more you're on top of it during the reno and right after, the less of that dust you're gonna see settle in the next couple of weeks following the renovation. A special thanks to our friends at Dyson Canada for providing us with the Dyson Hot Plus Cool Formaldehyde Air Purifier that you saw me use in this video. The advanced HEPA filtration, particulate, and formaldehyde sensors combined with their active carbon filter purifies and cools a room with powerful circulation. Of course, it also heats a room as well for those colder months, which I know are coming. I've been using this throughout our reno, and because of the handy display screen you see here, I absolutely know that it's working for me and provides real peace of mind that my air quality is as clean as can be during this renovation and beyond. To learn more, visit dysoncanada.ca or check the links down below. If I had to put a number on it, I would say this room is about 75% the way done, and we're hoping it should be complete in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And you know what? The hard part is out of the way, so we're totally fine with that. And that leads me to this week's comment question, which is, if you could do any renovation in your home, what would it be? Would it be changing out your windows so that you have floor to ceiling windows and you can put all kinds of plants there? Would it be redoing your kitchen or your bathroom or giving yourself a new office? I'm so curious to see what you would do for your reno. So let me know in the comments down below. You might not be renovating, but you might be moving, in which case this video all about how to clean after a move might come in handy for you, so you can check that one out. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.